Warm welcome. It's the 18th of April 2025. As I'm speaking here, the moon is still in the sign of Sagittarius, but we will have a moon energy change, Middle European summertime, 10:15 this evening, and then the moon is going to the sign of Capricorn and makes a potential, well, it's not a square energy because the sun is rapidly approaching the sign of Taurus, but it doesn't fit that well from the fire energy Sagittarius moon to the fire energy of the Aries sun. But what is the most important aspect for me today? Actually, it's two. The first one is we have a mutual reception in between the Sun and Mars. Mars just entered this morning into the sign of Leo, making actions that are profoundly anchored into your individual creativity, very useful, very promising. And it's not only that, because the ruler of Mars in the sign of Leo is the Sun, and the Sun herself is in the sign of Aries, which is being ruled by Mars again. And since they have an aspect to each other, it's called a mutual, how do you say, a mutual reception. Yes, a mutual reception. And this does not last very long, because the Sun tomorrow in the very morning is going to enter the sign of Taurus. I think it's going to be around 8 o'clock in the morning. And when the Sun enters Taurus, she's going to be in the field of Venus, because Venus is ruling Taurus. She will make a square position right away to Mars, so we're getting into not comfortable Venus atmospheres right away, but what is building up as a mutual reception, as the big chance of grabbing a piece of life for you, in the sense of opening up the room if you are bold enough to do some action that will provide you of something that shifts you over to the sunny side of life. I'm only talking about legal actions, though Lilith is in the sign of Scorpio and she's very sharp in the sign of Scorpio. So this is my message: mutual reception in between Mars and Sun. Mars is to open up a room, but only for those who do it in the right rhythm, because the sign of Leo, the sign of the heart, is actually about the rhythm, and rhythm is everything in life. Rhythm is frequency, is action in general, is something that you grab and you have it, you give it a good place in your heart, an anchored place in the heart. But it's about action that opens up. It's not about staying at home and leaving anything the way that it is. There's another aspect besides that, which is the conjunction of Venus and Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Now, Venus and Saturn work together astonishingly very well. Venus likes to build up things in harmony, and she likes to use the structure that Saturn provides. And as it's in the sign of Pisces, it's all about spiritual development and spiritual things going on. You might have noticed that the news, the pool of news that is floating around worldwide, which I find very useful always to take certain pictures and fragments out of it to see what is the astralic form really imprinting itself in our collective consciousness. But besides that, you might have noticed, though a lot of things run tragically, that the news get boring. It's just boring. We can't hear it anymore. There's another catastrophe, there's another thing, there's another stock market, blah blah blah, there's another scandal about this, and I mean, anybody knows the right things that should happen do not happen actually in the way that they should happen, but also people have a tendency to go back into real life, which is not a bad thing in general, and will develop outcomes that are way better than what we have been used to 20 years of boredom to trying to change the system from within, blah 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 blah. All right, thank you very much for listening to me. This is Markus Termin speaking on the 18th of April 2025. If you want to get in contact with me, this mail address leads you there. You'll get a Zoom link. We have a consultation. We'll find things in your chart that you have never even been thinking about yet. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow.